Etapu, assalamu alaikum, namaste, Haroon Effer. This is Qesankh Keperu with another exciting video for you. And in this video, we're going to talk about how the Hotep community is full of criminals. But before I do that, I want you to hit the like button on this video. If this is your first time to my channel, hit the subscribe button to get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you're interested in knowing more about my spiritual teachings, you can scroll down below and click on one of the ebooks there. Download the ebook right away. It's free and you can start reading it. We have about 4 good ebooks and more on the way. Lastly, if you want to take your spiritual journey to the next level, down that rabbit, follow that rabbit down that rabbit hole, you can become a Patreon supporter for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. It's up to you. You can cancel at any time. You get instructional videos, access to instructional videos on the esoteric, how to summon spirits, how to contact the ancestors, how to astral project, how to work with the oracles. You'll learn about divination like the I Ching, the Meduna Tarot. You'll learn about self-hypnosis to get rid of overeating or smoking addiction, and a host of many more. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, I want you to share this video with family and friends so you can help to change the vibrational frequency of the planet. Because right now we're going through a lot of challenges with the new administration. Biden and Harris are hiding. Things are going crazy with the economy. We got a different strain of the virus out there, so we need some guidance. And we did a reading earlier in the year to figure out how the country would do under the 2 different administrations, the Biden and the Trump. And clearly, the reading pointed to some challenges under the Biden administration. But anyway, we're not here to talk about that. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you. And please do not forget to, when you get opportunity, to donate to the channel. Your donations are appreciated. It helps me and my 26 kids. There are a lot of mouths to feed there. So anyway, in fact, I took on a 3rd wife. So there's definitely a lot of challenges there. So I got to remember, we don't say in the Kemetic tradition, challenges, we say it's an opportunity, So I want to get down to the nuts and bolts. I remember where I used to have classes in New York and LA. And they were fun. I would travel back from New York to LA teaching. But specifically, I remember tutoring and working with certain individuals who I thought were worthy. We would go to really cool New York restaurants to talk about spirituality. I remember there was one young woman, and she was getting married to her boyfriend who he was like an athletic star or something of that nature. Took her out to a Thai restaurant, and her and I started talking. And I remember receiving a message from her via text years ago. And her talking about, I believe it was, who was it? It was Brother, it was either Young Pharaoh or Brother Polite. And I remember my message and response to her when she was praising like the knowledge they were dropping and the work that they were doing. So I texted her back and I was like, I need you to be very, very careful of who you associate yourself with and what you watch. This community that you are getting more involved in and entrenched in is full of ex-cons and criminals who have taken on the idea or the trope of being a Kemetic person or spiritual person as a hustle. So please be very careful of that. Really good woman, and I think she took my advice. That was wonderful. She kind of pulled back away from it because I think she was smart enough to see some of the hustling going on. A number of years later, then I received, actually it was 2 years ago, an email from another woman. She is from Europe, and she was talking about some really deep knowledge that brother young Pharaoh was dropping, right? And she also mentioned some other spiritualists as well. So I emailed her back and I gave her a long dissertation. And I said, I want you to understand that these, dropping facts is easy to research. And most of these things that, young Pharaoh is dropping is incorrect. It's off point. He's not right in his hypothesis and assertions. But you don't know enough to do the research and understand to see the lies, deceptions, and the half truth in what he's saying. You need to really study Kemetic, and then he wants to do some things that were far more damaging by aligning himself with the radical feminist movement, and then started talking nonsense like the black woman is God and all this. And I wrote to this woman. I was telling her all this stuff. I said, we know in the Kemetic tradition that there is a Kemetic spiritual system that none of these people follow. You see, I'm a priest. I went to the priesthood. None of them went to the priesthood. They came directly from the hood. You know what I mean? And they're criminals. They've been in jail, criminal background records, everything. And I said, do your oracle reading. Do your oracle reading on them, and you will see what the oracle will tell you about them. And lo and behold, the oracle would spell with beans saying, Nekabet, Wajet, dark deceased. Don't mess with these people. But she kept getting more and more involved because, you see, we get off on intellectual masturbation and we get deep. And then here you have more people come along, your Umar Johnsons. You know what I mean? And then they have the gift of gab, and they say certain things about Pan-African and African, all us working together. And just to get your money and get your donations, because see, black nationalism is a big business. Hating white people is a big business. Hating black men is a big business. You see, if you're Kamala Harris, it's okay to be a sister girl dating a white man, but if you're a black man and you're dating a white woman, the black feminists use that as a means to try and destroy the black male. Even though we know that many black males who have been married to white women have done incredible things, or black men who are biracial heritage have done incredible things. But because you're indoctrinated into the Western mindset, meaning you use black nationalism, which is just a white supremacist doctrine reversed to legitimize your hatred of your own people by calling them coons and sellouts. Your Nicki Minaj's, your Lizzo's, your Jay-Z's, these are your sellouts, selling drugs to the community, pimping and twerking. These are your coons and your sellouts. But because you hear some brother from off the street, because he's keeping it real and he's from the street, you think he's legit. You think he's legit. You think he's legit. And he come along and he first of all, the playbook for most of these Hotepers is to attack black men because they know that black women are the ones that support the black church. They financially support the black church. They financially support, they're big consumers. So they'll talk this rhetoric against black men. And they do things like run around calling the woman the queen. She's the god, the original goddess, because they know that a lot of black women like that polishing, like that play on words, like that feeding of the ego. But there's no substance to it. And my goddess, Ma'at, and especially Aset, are the real patron mothers and inspiration for truth. I don't need to call them queens, goddesses, first woman on earth and all that, because they are real goddesses that exist. Let me say it again, they're real goddesses that exist. Aset exists. Isis exists. Ma'at exists. Heru exists. I don't need to stroke their egos. Oh, my queen, my queen, my king, my king. None of them need ego stroking. And the only woman that I will call a goddess, the black woman is God, which is a male label. I only refer to the true gods that exist, the Neteru, on the Port Neteru, the company of the gods, the tree of life. They are the ones that I worship and follow. But this ratchet, ghetto, dysfunctional culture that we have accepted. And when I was writing to this woman who was idolizing young Pharaoh for finding some knowledge, I said, he's wrong in many things that he says, and he is leading you in a very dangerous direction. Because all of these guys, they don't understand the 11 principles on the tree of life and the truisms. And that is, the first one is, amen, you must be at peace in the face of the greatest obstructions and challenges. And all of them were yelling and cursing at each other, calling each other names. You're gay, you're down low. No Cometian priest attacks others. No Cometian priest uses profanity. There's a sister, she calls herself a Cometian, and she's cursing. I'm like, so you're not a Cometian woman. You don't come on here cursing. There's no excuse for you to use profanity, especially as a woman, especially if you want to be Heteru, who's sweet, harmonious, loving, caring. Heteru doesn't go saying curse words. So these individuals have never been indoctrinated into true Cometian spirituality. They've picked it up by reading some books off the street. And I had a talk with Joseph Ben Jochannan, my teacher, and Dr. Ben Clark, and I said, I don't agree with what you're doing, because you're doing the same thing you're claiming you're against, which is you're going on the lecture circuit talking about Afrocentricity, but you're not indoctrinating these people into a culture, a way of life. And consequently, what you're going to have is you're going to produce nothing. And I was right. Because when you go and you lecture, and they were talking about how the Western system is all messed up, I said, yeah, because it's based on left brain lecturing, oratory skills. And I said, if you do the same thing they're doing, our people don't adapt to that. Our people didn't come out the Greek and Roman system of auditory presentation. This is why the Greeks were caught in the paralysis of analysis, because they couldn't figure out what the truth was, because they were caught up in endless debate. While in the Cometian and African and Chinese cultures, we had sages that meditated for periods of years in caves to come out with the truth, and created women who were oracles to communicate with God and come out with the truth. This is why you have men like Lao Tse, Confucius, brilliant sages who came out with wisdom, Buddha, and Hindu religion. Profoundly deep. And when you study the teachings of the Buddha, you will see that these Hotepers are nowhere close to living a righteous life. What do we know about Wajet, the wandering sage? Underhanded people, sinister things, double dealing, duplicitous behavior, backed by Harukuhuti Tem. Ooh, really bad. Aggression, not abiding by the law. It's a very bad combination. Now, when you talk to these Hotepers and you start asking them, well, are you meditating? Are you communicating with spirits? Are you astral projection? Are you going to different dimensions? Absolutely not. Do you work with oracles? Absolutely not. So how are they in any way true Kemetian spiritualists? They're yelling, cursing, into pedophilia. Nature Boy. Sister did a program on Nature Boy talking about how corrupt he is, but she said, but I can't stop watching his program. Well, the reason you can't stop watching his program because you're just like him. As a woman, you do not watch a program about a pedophile. You try to shut that program down. That's not drama. That's disgusting. What is wrong with you? You see, our psychic pathways are blocked, so we have no connection to wisdom. We don't know anything. This woman don't know that as a woman who is supposed to be like Osset, to bear children, to protect children, you should not be watching a program about a pedophile, doing a series about him on your YouTube channel and talk about how engaging and interesting it is from a dramatic perspective. No, you don't watch that.